I used to think Gran Betty was just being cheap, until one Easter proved she was the smartest person I knew. I was standing at the window watching our neighbors carry in bags full of chocolate eggs and decorations. Easily £45.80 gone before they'd even sat down. It looked exciting. It looked like what we were supposed to be doing. So I turned and asked her, "Why aren't we doing Easter properly?" She didn't even look up. She just tapped her temple and said, "Child, if they can sell you the feeling, they don't need to give you the value." I didn't understand it then, but here's what I see now. And this might change how you look at every holiday. Most people don't realize they're being sold pressure disguised as love. You spend more than you planned. You rush to make it special. And a week later, it's gone. No real memory. No real meaning. Just less money and more clutter. Gran Betty saw the trap before the rest of us did. And instead of spending £45.80 on things we wouldn't remember, she gave us something I've never forgotten. And the strange part? It didn't cost her anything at all. Back then, I thought she was just being stubborn. Now I realize she was protecting us. Because those baskets that looked like joy were really just £45.80 of things no one remembered a week later. Gran Betty spent almost nothing, and somehow gave us everything. Maybe you've felt it too, that quiet pressure to make it special, even if it means spending money you didn't plan to spend. That pressure? That's the trap. Gran Betty saw through all of it. She used to say, "If it doesn't last, it isn't wealth." Full cupboards don't fix empty habits. Let me say this clearly. If a holiday leaves you stressed, in debt and exhausted, it isn't a celebration. It's a bill with decorations. So instead of chasing Easter sales, she created something we still talk about years later. She called it her 3-part legacy rule: find, make, and tell. Find something meaningful. Make something together. Tell a story that lasts. Simple, repeatable, powerful. She called the first part the legacy hunt. And I remember one Easter when it was raining, not just a light drizzle, proper miserable rain tapping against the windows. I thought she'd cancel everything. She didn't. She smiled and said, "Weather only ruins the plans that were weak to begin with." Instead of hiding things outside, she turned the whole house into a maze. Cupboards behind books, inside old tins. I found one note tucked inside a teacup. It read, "You asked good questions this year. Curious minds build rich lives." Another time, she hid nothing at all. We spent an hour searching, confused, until she finally said, "Sometimes the lesson is this. Stop looking for more and learn to see what's already in front of you." That one stayed with me. If you want to do this, keep it simple. Use 5 to 10 meaningful objects you already own. Attach one handwritten note to each. Share a memory, a lesson, or something you admire. Hide them with intention. Make the search part of the story. Gran Betty always said, "The meaning isn't in the item, it's in the story you attach to it." Then came the second part, make. The kitchen was always warm, always a little messy, always full of something real. I remember one year we burnt the first loaf completely. I thought she'd be annoyed, even if it only cost about £1.20. But she just laughed and said, "Good, now you'll remember it." Then she leaned over and whispered, "Perfect costs more than mistakes ever will." So we started again. As we kneaded the dough, she told us stories, not just the polished ones, but the hard ones. The first £10 she ever saved. The times she got it wrong. The moments she had to start over. She would say, "Money grows best in hands that have learned patience." If you try this, pick one simple recipe. Bread, biscuits, anything basic. While you cook, share one real story about money, effort, or resilience. Make it a rule. No phones, no distractions, just presence. Because what she was really teaching us wasn't baking. It was attention. And attention is what creates memory. Most people don't have a money problem. They have a meaning problem disguised as spending. The final part was tell. We didn't decorate with plastic. We walked. I remember her stopping suddenly on one of those walks, picking up a small, ordinary stone. She handed it to me like it was something rare and said, "If you learn to value simple things, you'll never feel poor." We brought it home. It sat on the table like it belonged there. And somehow, it did. Our home didn't feel like a temporary display waiting to be thrown away. It felt alive. Layered. Ours. We weren't just celebrating a holiday. We were building something. We're not just saving money. We're opting out of a system that profits from making us feel like we're not doing enough. Gran Betty used to say, "Comparison is the fastest way to make a rich life feel small." And somewhere in all of that, without ever announcing it, she changed how we saw everything. I didn't realize it then, but years later, when money got tight, I wasn't panicking like everyone else. I already knew how to create joy without spending. That was Gran Betty's real gift. She didn't just save us money for one Easter, she trained us for life. If nothing changes, next year looks the same. More spending, more stress, less meaning, and another holiday that disappears as quickly as it arrived. But that doesn't have to be your story. You're not the kind of person who needs to spend to prove you care. You're the one who creates meaning out of nothing. Anyone can spend money. Not everyone can create value. So try this, just one part of it. One note, one story, one homemade moment. Then come back and tell me what changed. Because she was right all along. If it empties your wallet and your spirit, it isn't a tradition, it is a trap. Use what you have before you spend what you don't. Debt fades your future. Discipline builds it. And one she told me quietly one evening that I carry with me everywhere. A simple life well lived will always outperform a complicated life well spent. Before you go back to scrolling, make a decision. Are you building memories or buying moments? This isn't just a video, it's a different way of living. If this spoke to you, don't keep it to yourself. Like this video so more people can break out of the cycle. Share it with someone who feels the pressure every holiday. And subscribe to join a community that is choosing meaning over marketing. And if you're ready to go deeper, watch the rest of Gran Betty's Money Wisdom series right now, because the habits you build today become the legacy your family lives tomorrow. Those neighbors with the bags? I don't remember what they bought, but I remember every single note Gran Betty wrote. Spend less. Mean more. I'll see you in the next one.